I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're talking to Jesse Arzate. He is the author of Peace from Insanity, and he is taking readers on an introspective journey through his collection of free verse, delving into the complexities of life, the human experience, and the pursuit of peace. With thought-provoking poems that explore the dynamics of colors, power, faith, and kindness, he encourages readers to reflect on their place in the world and strive for harmony amidst chaos. We're delighted to have Jesse in the spotlight today. We thank the folks at Authors Tranquility Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask readers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Jesse, thanks so much for being our guest today.
Well, thank you for having me and for that nice introduction.
Oh, my pleasure. In this crazy world with all of the divide and hatred and anxiety, I think we do all need a little peace from insanity, don't you think?
Yes, we do. And I just came across this book. I wasn't really planning to write it, but at the end, it just all came together, which I'm very happy with the result.
So am I. It's a beautiful book. It's very well written. What is the main theme, would you say, of Peace from Insanity?
The main theme is where people could unite and not divide each other or let themselves be divided by religion, lifestyle, politics, or whatever divides us. It's, everyone's entitled to their own belief, and it shouldn't be something that should divide us.
Exactly. It's your opinion. It's my opinion. We don't agree. That's fine. Let's go get a beer. It doesn't matter, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Enjoy life. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. How long have you been writing poetry?
I've been writing poetry since I was like 12 years old.
Mhm.
But you know what they say, your first 10,000 words aren't that good.
It takes a while. Although some of
And
those ideas within the 10,000 words are pretty good, right? The first ideas tend to be good.
I hope so.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, is this a collection of poems that you've written your whole life, or did you write them specifically for this book?
No, I started writing this. I was waiting for my automobile to be worked on, and I started writing while in the waiting room. And it just after that, I just started writing a little bit every day. And it was 2017 when I started this, and and I, every chance I got or I got inspired, I would pull over or just stop and and get my iPhone out and just voice to text, and that's how it came to it.
Hmm.
That's how it all came together. So
Wonderful, wonderful. So you did a lot of talk to text to write down your thoughts.
right, and it's a lot quicker than what I used to do before.
Yeah, exactly. Like this on the typewriter or on the keyboard of the computer can take a while. I'm the same way. Two fingers.
Oh, yes, I hear.
Sounds
Anyway,
good.
go ahead.
No, what were you going to say, my friend?
No, it just all came together one, at a slow pace. So
Yeah, absolutely. One of the issues that you explore in your book is the concept of racism. Tell us about writing about racism within your poems.
well, to me, racism is just totally ridiculous because, like, I've got to know people from different races and different cultures, and color's just skin deep, and that's just
Mm.
it. On the inside, we're all alike. I mean, if you actually stop and look at different race, we all got to get up, all got to work for a living or go about our days, raise kids or what have you. And there's no different. It's I have an experience one time. I sat down with somebody from the Middle East and he shared his food with me. And I was out in the middle of nowhere, and it was really nice to get to
Mm.
know some different culture. And I learned something from it. You learn something from people. If you practice hatred or racism, you just really lock yourself in, and you really don't get to know the beautiful things that you can from different race and people.
Exactly. Exactly. Everybody's got something to contribute to, whether it's their food or their music or their culture or their heart or their good spirit. And you have to keep yourself open to that in order to enjoy that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And if you don't, well, you're missing out a lot in life.
Yeah.
It's people are great. Yeah, of course, every once in a while you come across a bad apple, but that's in
Right.
every situation.
There's a bad apple in every bunch. It doesn't
Okay.
matter the color, the creed, or their ethnicity. That's just life. But most people are good. And I think we see that every day in our interactions. And I think it is important, like you said, to keep your heart and your mind open to having interactions with people from different cultures. You also write about faith in your poetry. Tell me a little bit about your faith, how important it is to you, and how you wrote about it in your poems.
Well, sometimes faith is good, and sometimes faith is misleading. And there's one poem where I wrote basically faith is deceiving to the heart, and a lot of times it can be. If it's in religion or if it's in politics, if you have faith in politics or religion or where you put your faith in this, it's not always going to pan out or just be what you want it to be. But that's why I say sometimes faith is deceiving to the heart. Even in a relationship, sometimes you have faith that it's going to be the one, and while down the road you find out you're wrong.
Right.
Yes, that's why I said faith is deceiving to the heart.
Absolutely. Do you feel your book, Peace from Insanity, offers any solutions or suggestions into attaining peace in this crazy world?
I'm hoping that people would just what they take from it would be to take a good look at their surrounding, take a good look at themselves and say, all right, maybe I contribute to do something better, or every little small change, it's every little small thing we do, it could make a big difference in the long run.
Yeah,
But if we follow a negative thought wave throughout our life, and then it's just gonna cultivate negativity. But I think it's positive. It's a good way to look at a lot of things in life.
absolutely. Is this the first book you've published?
Actually, no, my first book that I published was Thought Press Between Pages,
Mhm.
which I republished it again with a second part to it. So it's actually now Thought Press Between Pages, an autumn memoir, which is I'm waiting for it to be released, and I got to talk to the company, see how much longer. But that's Thought Press Between. It's actually my first book. It came out 2005. So
Gotcha.
this
And what is that first book about?
my first book is actually a diary. Everything is done in poetry form,
Mhm.
and it's a diary when my first wife and I uh went our separate ways, and what I had to deal with living
Mhm.
alone. And basically, it's just everything is done in poetry. So it took me a long time. Actually, that is the first thing that I wrote that people actually picked up and read and then put it down after the first sentence. Happy of that. But it's going to come out hopefully. God, I hope at the end of this month. I'm getting impatient.
Right. Well, we're looking forward to it, that's for sure. Tell me a
My,
little bit about colors. You write about colors in your book as well. There's a deeper meaning there, of course, when you write about the colors. Tell us about that.
what I wrote is on color in the skin causes racism, and and some of us. But color in the canvas creates a masterpiece. And
Mm.
and we just look at the colors on the skin as a masterpiece. I mean, it's basically to me, it's like I've heard the expression, I don't see colors. Well, it's nonsense. When you look at a person, you see their skin color.
Yeah.
I see personality and the way a person is. If a person treats me with respect and kindness, I'm going to do the same thing. They if they don't, well, I feel unwanted and I just walk away. There's no use in wasting my time with
Right.
such, you know. But that's why I wrote about. I compare the color. Well, basically, why can't everybody skin color should be a masterpiece of some kind, you know?
Right. That's a beautiful thought. A beautiful thought, a beautiful poem, that's for sure. You
Mm.
also encourage readers to observe humanity in your writing, it seems. It is a lot of your poems born out of like a personal philosophy when you think back and contemplate life.
I learn from uh, I learn from people, and I read sometimes. Just I I'm just stay open minded to a lot of things, you know. And there's a lot of great writers before me, and that have very beautiful thoughts on humanity.
Mhm.
And I just I'm trying. Rami is one of them. Rumi, I think is his name. RUM.
Yep.
And I like a lot of his writings. And then you have another one. He goes by the Prophet.
Hmm.
He has a lot of good outlook on humanity, and you get your inspiration from reading things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about your life. You're born and raised in California?
Yes, I was born in Bakersfield, California, and we left here when I was 5 years old. We traveled up in Northern California. I've been up to Coyote,
Hmm.
um, Leroy, Morgan Hill, way back there in the late 60s, which is now totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my daughter was up there in San Francisco attending school, and I went to go pick her up, like 20 years ago. And I was just surprised about how quick California has grown because I'm constantly working and I don't take vacations. I just basically go to work and stay, come home and just live my life. So,
Mm.
and when I went up there, I was really surprised. But
Yeah. California is like a country, and it's a country that's growing fast, isn't it?
Bakerfield's growing quick
Yeah.
also. Small town anymore.
I know. I know. Tell me, do you feel like California has influenced your writing at all? There's kind of a spirit to California, a spirit of openness, a spirit of welcoming.
California is it's all I know, So
Hmm.
it's I, you have a lot of beautiful places to go to. I love
Hmm.
the you know I think it offers a lot. And right now my son's up there in Berkeley in San Francisco, and
Hmm.
he'll see pictures, and it's fascinating. It's just well, people, you know, you got people coming to California, it's, I mean, like I said, it's all I know, and it's a beautiful place,
It is.
So I
Yeah.
don't see, I don't see myself ever leaving. I
Yeah.
think about it every once in a while, but I go, there's certain things about California that I would miss, so I'm just
Yeah.
stay put.
Yeah. It's in your blood.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Forgiveness is another theme in your book. Tell us a little bit about what you wrote about forgiveness.
Well, on there's one poem that I wrote that you know uh revenge doesn't solve anything.
Hmm.
We give one another, and sometimes, yes, it is very hard to forgive, and which sounds kind of maybe outdated because I nowadays people they react too quickly to and like violently, and
Mhm.
it doesn't accomplish anything, just make matters worse. And sometimes people just end up throwing their life away at such a young age by doing something foolishly at the spur of the moment, and you have so much to live for, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I write about, forgiveness. And also one of my poems, I go, they say that love, when it comes to love, you should forgive. Well, I believe that when it comes to forgiveness has its limitation.
Mhm.
You just be stepped on all the time,
Right.
and so I forgive you. No, it just doesn't work that way.
Right. You can forgive, but you can't necessarily forget if somebody's not treated you well or harmed you or, not respected you in the way you should be respected. That's for sure.
Right. So forgiveness has its limitation, but yeah, basically what I'm talking about just there's times that it does apply a lot. You know. But,
Exactly. When you first finished the book, who's the first person you gave it to read?
well, I was lucky enough to have a book signing up there in Tucson, Arizona, and my daughter and
Mm.
I were up there while she drove me up there. That was an experience. The
Yeah.
books, oh, it's I was surprised of how many people came to my table, and I wasn't expecting that. And that was it was an experience that
Mhm.
really. So basically, I would say, and the book signing was one of the first people that actually share my writing with. But like I said,
Wonderful.
it was great. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Because you put these words down on paper, you get them published, you think about them touching people and influencing their lives. And then to go into a bookstore in Arizona like you did and see them lined up to see you is
well,
kind of
actually,
a
and,
great feeling, right?
yeah, this one was in a what is it? It was on Tucson College where all the independent bookstores, I mean, all the independent publishers got together. I think they do it once a year, and everyone has a different table.
Hmm.
Every has a different table, and that's where the event took. I think it was in a college, Tucson College. So
Wonderful.
yeah,
That's
it was.
something you won't soon forget, that's for sure.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
forget. I had a great time being there with my daughter, and she was right beside me. So whenever I needed help spelling out her name, she helped me.
Yeah. That's great. That's wonderful. Is there a favorite poem of yours within the book?
I think Faith is one of my favorite poems where I describe them, sometimes I lose faith that whoever, because people are always dividing themselves, through religion, through politics, through lifestyle,
Mm,
because of the, and I ended that poem that I feel like, we're just going to divide ourselves out of existence.
mm,
Basically, we need to stop dividing ourselves. We need to unite, basically.
mm.
Was the message I want to get through, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the message I get throughout the whole book, in and out.
When
But
did you decide to name the book Peace from Insanity?
I was walking out of a store and I just happened to look at the sky and I started writing the first line to Peace from Insanity. And when I got to the end of that poem, I just decided, it just came to me out of nowhere, and I'm going, you know what, it was the last line of the poem. And I'm going, also the last poem of the book. And I'm like, you know what, I think this would be a great title. And that's how I came across
Yeah.
the title, Peaceful Insanity. Because what the last poem describes, it's just basically chaos and destruction. And at the end of the last line, I pray for peaceful insanity.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I liked it so much, so that's how I got the title.
Yep,
I'm glad.
absolutely. You know, it's a great title because it kind of says it all. That's what your poems provide is peace from insanity, right?
Yes, and actually, I'm very happy with the reviews I've gotten. I got from what is it, Pacific Book Reviews, and there's another professional reviewer company, and very positive. And I'm just hoping that maybe one day my biggest goal is to see this book in a bookshelf at a
Mm.
store. So it might happen, it might not, but I'll keep writing.
Yeah.
You know,
Are you working on any new books?
I have one children book that I'm working on right now, and as soon as I could, it's already done. As soon as I can get the company that I'm working with now, which is a different company, they sent me some drawings to inspire me to publish with them. The drawings are beautiful. It's a children book. It's a
Hmm.
very, and I like this. I'm like, all right. As soon as I get the funds all together,
Yeah.
um, we'll get started. So I'm
Yeah.
almost there. Hopefully, in a couple more months, I'll get everything together and I'll be able to we'll get started on that project.
Sounds good. What's the theme of your children's book?
It's basically it's about a little girl. She's 3 years old and she's in front of the ocean, and all of a sudden there's two little angels and two little fairies, and it's just like a day in the ocean, and it's called Princess Chelsea and the Magical Sea.
Hmm.
And and then at the end of the story, you'll find out uh, it ties everything together, right? But I've been writing that for a while now. I think I've been working on that for like a little bit over 6 years, until I got to a place where okay, I'm happy with it. So.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. And you said illustrations are going to be a big part of the story to bring it to life for the children.
Oh yes, and the company is doing the illustration. Like I said, they send me copies of it, and illustrator's great. So
Hmm.
I'm very happy with how it's coming out. You know, it was like a little teaser. Look, if you publish it with us, this is how your illustrations are going to look like. And I'm going, okay, you got me again. They're very good. It's the character is. I'm just happy with the whole, with the whole the illustration. So that's why, as soon as, like I said, as soon as I get to get, enough funds, and it's going to get started. But
Great.
I'm still waiting for them to release my second book.
Right. Well, it's a process. It'll get there. You'll get there, I'm sure. Tell the folks at home what you'd like them to know about Peace from Insanity before we leave you today. What would you like them to know? How will this book affect them? How will it impact their lives?
I hope they walk away reading this book, and with a better understanding of life, and maybe if they have some doubts and or whatever, they'll just have a different look on certain things in life. Like I said, skin color is only skin colors. There's and forgiveness, and there's one poem I go, love is for everyone, but not everyone loves, which
Hmm.
really, it's really a shame. But um, I just want them to get a positive. Well, it's walk away with a positive feeling after they read my book. You know.
Absolutely. I think they absolutely will have a positive feeling after reading your book. I know I had a positive feeling after reading this book. It's a beautiful book. Jesse Arzate is a wonderful wordsmith. He has put together a collection of poems that will really touch your life, change the way you look at things, change the way you feel about things. It is called Peace from Insanity. And we do indeed live in a bit of an insane world, and we do all need that peace. So this book is highly recommended. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you very much. And
Oh,
for
the
your
pleasure is
kind
all mine. Great speaking with you. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.